Hi, Keith here from Academy of Bass. This is a really quick and unplanned lesson, and I'm going to show you how you can take something that you already know and look at it in a different way so that you can find some new ways of working on it and hopefully find some new things to use in your playing too. I'm not even using my own bass today. This is my little boy's bass. It's not at all set up for me, so there's a little bit of fret buzz. I hope that doesn't spoil the lesson too much. Now, during a break in teaching today, I picked the bass up and I was having a play around for 5 minutes or so, and I found myself working on a major 7 arpeggio. I was playing a G major 7 arpeggio, G, B, D, F sharp, or root 3rd, 5th major 7, and I was playing it up here. Now when I usually play arpeggios, I tend to pick every note, but for some reason today in the back of my mind I had this notion of sweep picking. I don't mean rock guitar sweep picking. I meant I was searching for a way of playing this that would allow me to play it a bit more fluently and fluidly, smoothly, and instead of picking I came up with. Now, I'm using some different articulations and ornaments there, mainly hammer-ons and pull-offs, but when I was playing this, I began to focus on the top part of this arpeggio coming down, so F sharp the major 7, G the root back to F sharp, D the 5th and B. Now I'm playing this with my 3rd and 4th fingers, but it doesn't feel that comfortable for me today, and I've been playing and working on things long enough to know what my physical limitations are, and there's something in my physical makeup that sometimes makes using my 3rd and 4th fingers a little bit awkward, and that's really strange given that my little finger is probably the finger that I use the most in my fretting hand. But there you go, I still like the way that it feels and sounds. But I was looking for another way of playing this, and I instinctively went for my 1st and 2nd fingers. Now straight away this feels really solid, and I like the sound. Sounds very different to me. I'm not sure if that difference is making its way to you, but it feels different to me. Now when we come down here, I'm reverting to the previous way that I played this, as opposed to, don't like using my 1st and 2nd finger coming down, but I do like using my 2nd finger coming up because it allows me to introduce this slide, which is a different articulation and adds a different flavour. So we've got, and there's a 3rd way. So now I'm playing B the 3rd at the 14th fret of the A string, and if I continue down the arpeggio, it allows me to introduce that slide as well. Now I'm playing a few extra notes at the bottom of that arpeggio, so when we get to G the root, I'm playing F sharp the major 7, D the 5th and B the 3rd. So we've got 3 ways of playing this. What I'm going to do now is play them back to back so that you can hear the difference in how they sound. I like all 3 of those ideas. They all feel and sound a little bit different to me, and they've certainly all got their challenges in terms of the way that they're played and the different articulations, but I like them all. Let me know in the comments if you've got a favourite and which one you prefer too. So far I've been focusing on the top part of the arpeggio, but now I'm going to look at our options for playing D the 5th and B the 3rd. So again, either starting with the 3rd and 4th finger or 1st and 2nd, going to come down to D here, and B is right under the 3rd finger, which leads us into the rest of the arpeggio. Now the only downside of this shape, if there is one, is that it's heavily reliant again on the 3rd and 4th fingers, but that's not a real problem. We can play this a slightly different way though. We can play the B with our little finger, and if I do that, there's just no way that I'm going to come down to G, the root here. It just doesn't feel natural. But I will come down to G here, and then all I'm doing there is playing the same as this 3rd fragment that we just played earlier on. And there's a slightly different way we can play this too. And there's one final way of playing this. So either leading with the 1st or 3rd. And I like this slide, but instinctively I would probably play that using my little finger, because that brings me into what I would call the home position for playing this major arpeggio. And we can either come down this, or we can come down it. So we've got a ton of options there too. I'm going to have another playthrough now, and I'm largely going to be improvising. I'm going to do my best to use as many fragments and elements from the lines that we've played today, but my main focus is to play smoothly. So I'm going to move around the whole neck, and I'm hoping that the transition between every area of the neck is smooth and free flowing. So I hope you enjoyed that and you could hear just how effective those lines are. By the way, there's a PDF for this lesson, so I'll post a link to that below. Make sure you grab it. Feel free to give things a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, or hit the bell notification. That way you won't miss out on what I'm releasing every week. Thanks for joining me. Look forward to seeing you again. And in the meantime, happy practicing.